Dave.
Hey, what's up? How you doing?
We're getting ready to go on tour together again.
I think it's going to be great. I'm so excited.
This will be fun. This will be really fun.
Yeah.
I haven't seen you since right before the pandemic. Melvins played with Mr. Bungle at it was your first show that you guys had done, I'm pretty sure, and it was in Los Angeles at the Henry Fonda Theater.
Oh, okay.
Which I've renamed which I have renamed the Peter Fonda Theater.
The Peter Fonda? Yeah, it makes more sense. I don't know who
the
hell Henry is.
You gotta take acid once you come through the door. That's the requirement.
Okay.
No searches. You just gotta dose.
We're going to hand everybody a little sugar cube.
Exactly.
Yeah. Oh, it's going to be a great show. No matter what we do, it's going to be awesome.
Yeah, it won't matter.
You guys don't usually tour in the winter.
No, we don't. We usually stay home unless we're going to someplace like Australia or someplace farther south.
I learned that lesson from you guys. It's like, never go on tour in the winter. It makes absolutely no sense. You know,
you don't want to cancel shows. I know that I just heard that that band Alice in Chains are on tour, and they were supposed to play in Los Angeles last week and got stuck in Reno.
Yeah. Exodus and Zach Wild and all those guys, they're on a tour. Exodus, Anthrax, and Zach Wild.
Oh, right.
Society. They got stuck at the pass, and they couldn't get over. They had to cancel some shows, and so it's a mess.
I saw that I saw that they're playing Canada. You don't go play Canada in the middle of winter. That's just dumb. But so there's some lessons we learned about going on the road. Don't tour in the winter. Never be the last one to the van. Otherwise, you know what happens. They lock the doors on you. They lock the doors and start honking the horn.
Yeah, like, hey, where you at?
I think the first time I ever heard your drumming was probably on Show No Mercy, right? Was that was the first Slayer record, correct?
That was the very first one, yeah.
Right. So I've definitely been a fan of your drumming for a long time. And I remember going on our first European tour, and it was right around the time when Seasons of the Abyss came out.
Yeah.
And that was like the record for me for that tour. I remember listening to it tons.
Really?
And loving your drum fills.
Oh, man. Well, thank you. Now, this story, I mean, it's obviously my turn to say the first time I heard you play. I've heard of the Melvins because, I mean, I was in this whole thrash metal world, so I didn't really venture out musically much in the early days. But the first time I ever saw a picture of you guys was on the backside of some kind of metal magazine pullout poster. So I was on one side, and you flip it over, and the Melvins were on the other.
Nice.
And it's like, wow, the Melvins, I never heard of them, so it was kind of odd because, I had my ear to the ground, but for some reason, I never heard any of the music. And obviously at that time, there was no internet or anything. And then as time went on, then I got into Phantomus, and then we started playing together. And it wasn't until then, forgive me for that, but,
no worries.
I wasn't exposed to your music. Nobody ever turned me on to it or anything like that. And then when I first heard some of the music, I was like, whoa. I think I looked it up or heard it in the van. We were listening to it while we were traveling with Phantomus very, very, very early on. And it's like, oh, this is Buzz. It's like, whoa.
Yeah.
And there was a tone. There was a tone that you guys captured. It was so fucking heavy, so fucking monstrous. It's like, wow. And, it really blew me away. And then,
thanks.
And then it totally made sense when I heard your music and then heard Buzz's tone, guitar tone. It's like, wow. Then I started picking up on all this history. It's like, wait, what? Where have I been what rock have
Yeah.
I been under my entire life where I've never, came across this music? And then when we played together on stage, or I saw your drum set for the first time, at the LA studio, because we were
Yeah.
practicing in your studio, and I saw
Right.
your kit. Holy shit, 26-inch bass drums, a 16-inch or an 18-inch rack tom. If
Yeah.
I don't,
Yeah.
I could be wrong. I was like, holy
16.
fuck! It was 16.
Yeah.
I was like, fuck, man. And I understood because on the Seasons of the Abyss tour, I used a 16-inch tom as well, a rack tom.
That's great.
And I had 18 and 20. So I related to you, and
Right on.
your sound. But when we played on stage together, you had a massive drum sound on stage, and you knew how to dial in your monitor system.
Uh-huh.
And I felt anemic. I had the big double bass kit, but my sound was in no way compared. You couldn't compare it. It was apples and oranges. You had a massive sound. You had a subwoofer. You had your wedge. You had I don't know if you remember this, but then I had just a little wedge
Really?
because yeah,
Wait,
yeah.
how come I got the sub and you didn't get
You had the room. You had the room
Oh,
behind you
okay.
because I had the gong.
Oh, okay, that's what it was.
I
Right.
had the gong, so I never put two and two together. It's like, hey, let me buff up my sound on stage, and I never thought of it that way.
Well, it's funny that you say that because I never really used to put much in the monitors as far as drums, just vocals. And then our sound guy for a while was Randy Hawkins, who was also your guys' sound guy.
Yeah.
He's the one that told me that you put toms and stuff in the monitors. I'm like, really? And so I started doing that.
Oh, you did?
Because of you. Yeah. Yeah. So that's really funny. But I remember you and I talking about our early influences, and it was like the same up to like a certain point. Like I remember, I kind of learned to play drums pretty much from Kiss records, and then it kind of went Kiss, and then Judas Priest Unleashed in the East with Les Binks, who's one of my favorites. Clive Burr from Iron Maiden,
of course.
who I was, yeah, and then that was like not long after that was kind of when I joined the Melvins and like heard all these more punk rock drummers, but you were still kind of in the mix because definitely Slayer were, at least in the beginning, were somewhat of an underground band, just like all these punk bands. So all the punk rockers knew about you guys and Venom and Exodus, Metallica, all the kind of underground bands but definitely like new wave of British heavy metal was a big influence on my drumming.
Yeah, it was both of us. Yeah, same, exactly the same, and it was, it's unreal. It's amazing how our paths, started similar, musically, and others the inspiration, and then we both ventured out, created something, and then somehow we crossed paths. And I remember Buzz telling me, I don't know if it was you and Buzz or just Buzz and Cobain went to a Slayer show in Olympia, Washington.
Yeah, it was Buzz for sure. I'm not sure if Kurt was there, but I had just missed it. Like it was right before I joined the band. And we lived in such an isolated area that we didn't really, I didn't know about shows other than like big shows that were happening outside of outside of Aberdeen. So it was like a whole new world for me. That would have been about, you guys probably played up there about 84, I think.
Probably. Yeah.
Like probably right. I joined the Melvins in like August of 84, and I think you guys were probably there just right before that.
Yeah, I believe so. Yeah. Unreal. Your sound on stage, it's so amazing.
Oh, thank you.
And your playing as well, like taught me just the the power that you can convey, through the drums. I already knew and felt, but you taught me something else. You taught me by touring with you the importance of the space. Like when you play the slow beats, those really slow, and some of the songs that I had to learn for big band. Yeah,
Oh,
taught
right,
me
right, right.
so much. And then later listening to your albums and Houdini, and then one of my favorites is Senile Animal.
Oh, thanks. Yeah, with the double drumming.
I
Yeah.
love that album. Not only the double drumming, which is exceptional, but also the songwriting, and the incorporation of the drum solos. It's just brilliant. Dale, big
Thanks.
fan.
Oh, right on. Yeah, we worked really hard on that stuff. But I mean, it's funny because um, I mean, playing with you was kind of like right before that, like we'd always talked about. We talked a long time ago about the Melvins like adding another drummer just because it would be cool, and we like bands that had double drummers. But I mean, kind of the first time we really did it was with the Melvins Phantom Moss Big Band. I was
Ah,
just going to say one thing I remember noticing about your drumming when we first started playing together too was the way that you started your fills. I'm like, God, that's really weird. And then I realized, oh, Dave has something in common with Ringo Starr and Clem Burke, drummer from Blondie, and that is Dave's left-handed but plays the drums right-handed. And I was
yeah.
like, oh, because I used to watch Clem Burke, and I always I loved the way that he would end a fill and then hit the crash with his left hand. So I would
Uh-huh.
do that all the time. I thought it looked
Yeah.
cool, and I just always thought like, oh, that makes sense because he's probably ending with a paradiddle once he gets to the floor tom or whatever.
Yeah.
No, he's starting his fills with his left hand, and that's what you do.
I
So
do, yeah. And
yeah,
I think I end with my left hand
right,
and then carry over and I hit with my right. I think
right,
I don't
right,
it varies depending on where the roll starts.
sure.
Yeah.
Sure, but
But yeah.
that definitely makes your roles unique for sure.
Yeah,
And
it
a song
confuses.
like yeah, well, a song like Honey Bucket is me trying to imitate that.
Oh, really?
Yeah, totally. I'm just trying to imitate like your weird drum fills and the way
Oh,
that you
wow.
start them.
Yeah, we were big caffeine heads. Man,
For sure.
do you remember? I brought this up to Buzz the other day when I saw him. He taught me he taught me how to make twice brewed coffee. You brew
Oh
your coffee
God.
and then pour it back in and let it
Oh
brew.
God. I remember they used to have caffeinated water,
Yeah.
and I remember making coffee with caffeinated water. Oh my God, it just took your head off. God, my heart was beating so fast. I remember making that when we were on tour with Tool one time.
Oh my God. Yeah, I remember during those sessions, I don't know if I ever brought cases of Red Bull. Do you remember
Yeah,
me bringing cases of Red Bull to rehearsal? Maybe.
I'm not sure.
That must have been just Phantomus. Yeah, I used to do that. We used to do those 9-hour rehearsals,
Right. Yeah.
music for the Phantomus music, and you know, and the parts were 30 seconds long. It's like, well,
Yeah.
you want to do it again after 20 some times? Perfect. And
Yeah.
and it's like, wait, it's only 30 seconds out of our life. Of course we could do it again. It's not a bad thing. So
30 seconds, but a total calculus problem, you know?
yeah, exactly.
How does that one go? See, I got to I had the joy of filling your shoes for
I
some
remember.
Phantomos gigs when you couldn't play, but luckily I got to do the director's cut, so it was a little bit easier than there were longer songs,
Yes. Yeah.
a little
Yeah.
easier to remember.
A little easier. Yeah. What else is happening?
Downtime for us right now, getting ready for this tour, working on some new music. We'll probably have something new coming out. It's our 40-year anniversary, so we'll do something big and dumb for sure. Make a
Okay.
big stink out of it. So
big steak, big and
this is
dumb.
part of it. Yeah, this is part of it for sure. How was your guys' tour down in South America?
Real good. Really,
Yeah,
really,
yeah.
really, really, really good. Patton
That's great.
killed it. Patton did
Excellent.
an amazing job.
I saw him try to get in a fight with a drone.
Yeah, he missed it by that much.
Yeah.
He almost
Nice.
had it. Man. That microphone when he swung that thing,
Yeah.
it was unreal.
That would have been good.
No, it was a lot of fun. Great turnout. Like I said, I was really, really happy that it all worked out, and it looks like with this tour coming up, and there's a possibility of more.
It was good to talk to you, Dave.
You too, Dale. Good to see you.
Yeah.
Say hi to your wife. Say hi to
I
your
will.
kids.
You do the same?
And we'll see each other real soon.
For sure.